Hello there.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
I said it before and I'll say it again. Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Good morning, Vietnam!
It's the Al Travis Show, and we've got on with us John Hinderaker, president of the American Experiment. Appreciate you being here, John. Thanks for taking the time.
Always great to be with you, Al.
I know you're a big American fan. You going to celebrate Independence Day in any kind of stylish way? You excited about tomorrow? Giving the people off of the office? Come on, John.
Yeah, we are not working tomorrow. It is Independence Day, and we're planning on hanging out with some grandchildren. And my wife tells me we're going to walk in a parade. It seems a little warm for that to me, but we'll see. We'll see.
You get an age, maybe I'll just take my chair and I'll watch you guys walk in a parade. Okay. Couple of things going on as we are taping the show today. The big beautiful bill is supposedly going to be getting passed. We'll see how that goes today. But it brings up a couple things. One is, if you listen to the governor, that's going to affect the budget that literally just got done 3 or 4 weeks ago. The other things going on, Department of Health and Human Services is looking into Minnesota Department of Education for the fact that the transgender girl was playing on the softball team could affect some money. Minnesota Department of Education is in trouble with the U.S. Department of Education because of the DEI training. And now a U.S. Attorney General is coming after Minnesota with this idea that the free college that they're giving to illegal aliens, that'll also cause some problems and could all cause money to be taken away from the state of Minnesota. Does this mean we have to have a special session? The budget wouldn't be balanced at that point. Or does that not matter? We gave it a good shot, we wing it, next year we'll see what we do. How does that work?
I don't know the answer to that question, Al. I mean, these kinds of changes happen often. I don't think we have a special session every time something happens that impacts the revenue forecast or the budget forecast. It'll have to be dealt with, though. I mean, it can't down the road. It'll have to be dealt with. And that last example that you mentioned, Al, is a good one. I mean, these people in Minnesota are scofflaws. They really believe that laws they don't like don't apply to them. And every once in a while, they have a rude awakening. So our practice of giving in-state tuition to illegal aliens, but not to Americans who live in other states, that is clearly illegal under federal law. I mean, there's no question about it. And so the federal government has sued us saying, hey, that is an infringement of the constitutional rights of American citizens in 49 states. They're going to win that case. And it's an example of the fact that our state government, really, they're scofflaws.
Well, and on that line, I just talked to Senator Howe. Minnesota now, the Attorney General, is one of 20 states suing the United States because Department of Health and Services is now sharing information with Department of Homeland Security. And they're suing him to make him stop. That just isn't fair. That's not right. I'm thinking to myself, how is that wrong? Two sides of the federal government talking to each other saying, oh, wait a minute, we're giving this guy Medicare, and he's not supposed to be here. Really? Let's go get him. Department of Home. Why? How do you sue? Why do you waste your time and money suing the government for doing the government's job?
Well, Keith Ellison has turned the Attorney General's office into a massive political operation. I mean, every time you see his name in the news, it's political. He's pursuing political objectives, and if he's doing something to actually serve the people of the state of Minnesota, I haven't noticed.
So, the governor, I presume, would like, and I'm getting back to a hypothetical here, the governor probably, because he's already said he'd like to get, if Trump does these bad things, he'll have to have a special session. It brings up in the paper how he's saving Minnesota from Orange Man. I get it. But don't they have a bit of a problem even trying to call that the, Mitchell trial? She's supposed to start next week now again, right? So she's going to be in trouble. Alleged. And then the other problem you have now is the Hortman, they're going to have another election, a special election for one, possibly both of them. He can't really call a special session with those hanging out there because now his side is on the losing edge of the numbers.
Yeah, I have not heard buzz about a special session, Al. Now, maybe I'm just
Okay.
out of that loop. Maybe
Okay.
maybe there is pressure for a special session. I have not been hearing that, and my assumption is that when the legislature reconvenes at the beginning of next year, they'll have a lot of things they'll need to look at, including changes in the budget forecast.
Sure, fair enough. All right, something I've read about on your page, AmericanExperiment.org, that just threw me for a loop. Third graders soon have to describe body parts in general neutral ways. And when I saw the headline, I go, you got to read it. So I pop it up. And as I'm reading, John, I'm thinking to myself, I know I'm 100 years old. But I don't think we were talking about body parts in third grade at all, let alone using medical terms or general. Did I have a bad third grade experience? We were not discussing these things.
I remember third grade fondly, Al. I had a great third grade experience, and it certainly did not include gender-specific references to body parts. I would say if you're going to talk about body parts in the third grade, it's better that your conversation be gender neutral. Otherwise, I would want to inquire as to what the heck are you talking about?
I really, everything I could do to think, I tried to get back in third grade. All I knew is boys went to the boys' room, girls went to the girls' room. And we all just knew what that meant. There wasn't a discussion on what parts or anything. I find that hard to believe that this is something happening in Minnesota. And is that just going to happen, or is this the thing that Trump comes in and says, just stop. We'll take away all your funding?
Well, I don't know. I think to be something that would result in a cut in federal funding, this issue is going to have to wait in line. There's a lot of others probably more substantial that the feds are going to be getting to.
Let me ask you one more thing before we go to break. When you look at the big beautiful bill, and I try to watch all the different news and get all I can from every different way, half of America is getting one version of how this is going to destroy and ruin America tomorrow. If this gets passed today, sell your stuff because tomorrow there will be no America. The other half, if this gets passed, it's the promised land, baby. We got this. How can both be true? How can anyone believe what either side they're listening to? It makes no sense.
Well,
they read the same bill.
The press coverage of this bill has been absolutely horrible. The main thing that this bill does is absolutely necessary, and that is that it extends the 2017 tax cuts that were during Trump's first term in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Those tax cuts had tremendous consequences I actually testified in front of the Joint Economic Committee of Congress on the positive economic impacts of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in Minnesota. Yeah, and the data are absolutely unassailable. But those tax cuts expire on December 31st. So without this bill, we would have the biggest tax increase in the history of the United States on January 1. That would devastate our economy. It would effectively end the Trump administration, and it would probably turn control in Washington over to the Democrats for years to come. So that was never going to happen. This bill is going to pass. It has to pass, and it will pass.
Let's talk about it. Let me ask you about how you see that differently. I understand what you're saying. If we do nothing, your taxes will go up.
And biggest increase in history, yeah.
Okay. So when Trump sells it as this biggest tax cut in all of American history, I think he oversells it. Just say it like it is, because then you box the Democrats. This is us keeping things the way they are. I'm not giving anything to the Rich von Richimuses, nothing. We're leaving it as it is today, so you don't see an increase.
Well,
then the Democrats can't say...
Al, you're right. And let me just point out that the Congressional Budget Office is worse than useless here, because the CBO says, oh, well, this bill adds, $3 trillion, whatever, to the deficit, to the national debt. Well, that's if you compare what's in the bill to the hypothetical world in which we have the biggest tax increase in history on January 1. If you compare it to the status quo, no, it does not add to the deficit at all. And it does a few things that hopefully will
make things better. And there's going to be a million things in this. I think that Trump was also wrong, or the Republicans, in not taking this in pieces, boxing everybody in. we're going to get this much for border control. I've got it. Now we want this. Just bust it apart so everybody has to vote on everything. You get a big, beautiful thing, and now you got some guys holding out to get a little extra something. I don't like it. But I don't like the fact they give the Democrats that much talking space and saying, there you go, more taxes for the, or more money back to the rich. I'm like, it's the same thing as yesterday. What are you talking about? But it drives people nuts. That's what I mean by the press not giving us a fair shot at this bad boy, what it means, what it doesn't, what it's going to do. Your thoughts? It gets passed today. Stock market goes through the roof tomorrow.
Well, not tomorrow. It's the 4th of July, right?
Thank you.
but I think on Monday, I think actually we've been seeing a nice rise in the financial markets because these people all understand this bill is going to pass. It has to pass.
Yeah, there's just no way they can't. All right, let's go to break. I want to find out, you guys have been across the state, and you're not done yet. You also have a deal that I believe you can still get involved with that's coming up this weekend. I want to talk about it all. It's upcoming events on the American Experiment. Go to AmericanExperiment.org. We'll talk about it right after this.
Think about it. A famous politician once said, "You're entitled to your opinion, but you are not entitled to your own facts." But in a world full of AI and fake news, where can Minnesotans find the facts? Center of the American Experiment is Minnesota's go-to source for fact-based analysis and common sense solutions for taxes, energy, public safety, and our kids' education. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
Tired of one-sided media and divisive noise drowning out your conservative values? Take back the conversation with Braver Angels. Join a grassroots movement to restore civility and find common ground without compromising your principles. As a conservative, your voice matters. Share your perspective on issues like immigration and public health in Red Blue workshops and help rebuild trust in our great nation. Be a leader in depolarizing America. Sign up for free at mn.braverangels.org. Braver Angels, where conservatives, liberals, and independents unite for a stronger republic.
Are you kidding me?
You know that comment you said to the radio? The thing that we got wrong?
Clearly, Brussels sprouts are the worst vegetable.
Call us and let the world know your thoughts. 855-257-7469. That's 855-ALS-SHOW.
John Hinderaker with the American Experiment. He's been on long enough that I feel comfortable telling him how to run his business, so I'm going to tell him that the staff must work tomorrow. You got too much going on. I brought up the upcoming events thing. You have 13 events between now and the end of the month. Your people have no time to take a day off, John. That's crazy.
It's kind of amazing how we do things that no other policy organization in America even dreams of doing. So we're in the middle right now of our summer tour, which we do annually. We go all over the state of Minnesota. And this year, the topic for the summer tour is Minnesota's state budget. The title of the program is Minnesota Doge, Cut the Waste, Save the Budget. And in this presentation, we recommend $4 billion in spending cuts out of Minnesota's state budget. We've been drawing big crowds wherever we go. If you go to americanexperiment.org and click on the tab that says events, it will bring up all these events. So starting next week, we're doing a northern swing. We're going to be in Ottertail, Brainerd, Bemidji, Duluth, St. Cloud, and then Maple Grove, Marshall, Wilmer, Rochester, Coon Rapids, Edina, and Buffalo. And I think we'll probably add a couple of more. There's so many people coming to these events, we probably are going to need a couple more.
Your staff has to hate you. You've got to hear the radio, and then John wants to add a few more. We'll throw some more in there. It's just guys' time. How's it going? When people get there, are they, we're talking budgets. It may not be the sexiest topic, but are people involved? Are they sitting there on the edge of the seat saying, give me more?
Al, I have rarely seen audiences as engaged as what we're seeing with this tour. The level of interest in Minnesota's state budget is sky high. And the presentation begins with a review of how is Minnesota doing? What is the state of our state? And as you know, Al, but a lot of people don't understand, historically, Minnesota was a prosperous state. As recently as 2014, we had a $4,000 per capita, per person advantage in per capita GDP, the basic measure of economic well-being, over the national average. So family of four, $16,000 above the national average. Well, in 2014, we passed that big tax increase. And every year, we're the only state in America that for 10 years in a row has underperformed the national average in per capita GDP growth. And now, for the first time ever since statehood, in 2024, we are a below average state in per capita GDP. Our economy is now below average. People are concerned about that.
Of course. So get on the American Experiment's upcoming events page. If any of those towns are near you, you got to go give yourself a shot. One last thing, because I know I saw it today. Today's the last you can sign up for the Stars and Stripes and Home Runs deal at the Twins game on, what would that be? Saturday,
July 5th. Yes, we have reserved the Budweiser roof.
Nice.
If you've been to Target Field, you know what I'm talking about. You go to the same place, americanexperiment.org, click the events tab. It is a 1 o'clock or 1:10 or whatever it is, Twins game, and we're going to have the Budweiser roof exclusively for people who get there through americanexperiment.org. So go there and buy your tickets if you're interested in coming to the Twins game on Saturday.
Should be a lot of fun. Do this for me. Give me a quick with the last minute. The big, beautiful bill happens. You've got all these people writing all these papers for you and doing all this. You guys will be the front end of how this is going to affect Minnesota, someplace I can go and read, and your people are going to tell me what's really happening, because I'm not getting it from what I'm hearing currently.
Yeah, no, most of those sources are pretty useless. Yeah, we're going to be all over this. I mean, we've got people who know more about Minnesota's budget than anybody else, and go to americanexperiment.org to get the facts.
I love it. Sir, thank you very much for taking time to be here. Appreciate you. Have a happy 4th. Happy Independence Day.
Have a great weekend.
Think about it.